saw a folder sitting in the middle of the bed, labeled with my name. My heart pounded as I opened it. Inside were screenshots, photos, and hotel receipts. The last page had a single sentence. "I'm taking the kids." I came home from work one afternoon, tired and sweaty. The sun in Butuan was relentless, and all I wanted was a cold shower and a nap. As I entered our bedroom, I noticed a folder lying in the middle of the bed. It had my name on it. I opened it. Inside were screenshots of messages, photos, and hotel receipts. The last page had a single sentence. "I'm taking the kids." My hands trembled. The messages were between my wife, Maria, and a man named Carlos. They spoke of love, of secret meetings, of plans to run away together. The photos showed them together at various places, restaurants, parks, even our favorite beach in Siargao. The hotel receipts confirmed overnight stays during times when Maria had told me she was visiting her sick aunt in Surigao City. I sat down, the folder still in my hands. My mind raced. How long had this been going on? Why didn't I see the signs? Was I so blinded by work and responsibilities that I failed to notice my marriage falling apart? When Maria came home that evening, I confronted her. She looked at the folder, then at me. There was no denial, no excuses. She simply said, "I'm sorry." I asked her why. She said she felt neglected, that I was always working, always tired, never present. She said Carlos made her feel alive again. I wanted to scream, to cry, to beg her to stay. But I did none of those things. I just sat there, numb. The next day, Maria packed her things and left, taking our 2 children with her. She moved in with her parents in a nearby barangay. I was left alone in our house, surrounded by memories of a life that no longer existed. I sought legal counsel and began the process of fighting for my rights as a father. The court proceedings were grueling, with Maria painting me as an absentee parent. I presented evidence of my involvement in our children's lives, photos, school records, testimonies from friends and family. The months that followed were some of the darkest in my life. I attended therapy sessions to cope with the betrayal and loss. I leaned on friends and family for support, slowly rebuilding my life piece by piece. Eventually, the court granted me joint custody, allowing me to spend weekends and holidays with my children. It wasn't the ideal situation, but it was a start. I relocated to a smaller home on the outskirts of Butuan, focusing on creating a stable environment for my kids when they visited. I enrolled in cooking classes to prepare their favorite meals and decorated their rooms with their favorite colors and characters. Maria and I maintained a civil relationship for the sake of our children. Over time, the anger and resentment faded, replaced by a mutual understanding of our shared responsibilities as parents. Looking back, the folder on the bed was a turning point in my life. It forced me to confront painful truths and make difficult decisions. While the journey was fraught with challenges, it ultimately led me to a place of growth and resilience. I now cherish every moment with my children, understanding the fragility of family bonds. The experience taught me the importance of communication, presence, and emotional availability in relationships. Years have passed since that fateful day. I've found love again, this time with someone who values honesty and partnership. Together, we navigate the complexities of blended families, always prioritizing the well-being of our children. The scars remain, but they serve as reminders of the lessons learned and the strength gained. Life has a way of testing us, but it's in those trials that we discover our true selves. 2 months after the custody hearing, I thought things would settle down. I was wrong. One Sunday afternoon, I took the kids to the mall. We were eating Halo at Chowking when my son, Paolo, said something that froze me mid-bite. "Daddy, why does Carlos sleep in Mommy's room now?" I stared at him. "What do you mean?" He looked confused. "At Lolo's house. Carlos is there. He sleeps in Mommy's bed. He even brings us toys." My daughter nodded and said, "He told us to call him Tito Carlos, but Mommy called him baby one time." I didn't say anything. I didn't want to make a scene in the mall, and I didn't want to put the kids in the middle. but my hands were shaking. When I dropped them off later that evening, I didn't speak to Maria. I was too angry, and I knew I might say something I'd regret. But that night, I sent her a message. Are you living with Carlos? Because if you are, we need to talk. The kids are confused. No reply. I waited a day. 2. Still nothing. On the third day, I got served papers. Maria was filing for full custody. Her lawyer claimed that I was emotionally unstable and subjecting the children to inappropriate questioning about her private life. They even submitted screenshots from our message thread and some exaggerated statements from her mom, claiming I had once raised my voice violently near the kids, a lie. Now I had to go back to court. I hired a better lawyer. More expensive, but this time I knew I had to fight harder. My lawyer advised me to stay calm and document everything. I started recording the days I had the kids. I took photos of their school activities with me, screenshots of my chats with them. I even had a pediatrician confirm that the kids seemed happy and safe when with me. But Maria wasn't done. One day, I picked up Paolo from school, and he looked upset. Quiet the whole ride. I asked him what was wrong. He said, Mommy told me you're trying to take us away forever. She cried and said you don't want us to love her anymore. That night, I cried alone for the first time in months. Not for Maria, but for what this was doing to our children. Then things took a strange turn. My neighbor, Mang Rodel, who lived across the street from my old house, messaged me on Facebook. He said he saw Carlos sneaking into the backyard late at night. More than once. Sometimes he'd see Maria let him in quietly through the side gate. This was weeks before she left me. I didn't want to get involved. He wrote. But when I saw the kids crying outside last weekend while she and Carlos were fighting inside, I thought you should know. I thanked him. Then I asked if he'd be willing to talk to my lawyer. He said yes. We added his statement to the court files. Suddenly, the judge seemed to pay more attention. Maria wasn't happy. She started sending me long messages at midnight, accusing me of turning people against her, telling me I was ruining her life. Once, she even sent me a voice note crying, saying she didn't plan for any of this to happen, and that she was just lonely. But the next day, she'd go back to being cold and hostile again. Then one night, while scrolling through TikTok, I saw a familiar face. Maria. She was doing a dance trend with Carlos. Someone had filmed them at a beach resort, laughing, drinking, holding hands. They didn't see the camera. The video was taken from a distance. But it was clear. It was posted by a tourist who captioned it. This couple couldn't stop fighting then hugging. What a show. The comments were brutal. But all I could think was, this wasn't just messy. This was dangerous. The kids were in the middle of it. The next week, Paolo had a bruise on his arm. Not big, but noticeable. When I asked, he said he slipped. But he looked away as he said it. I called Maria. She said he fell on the stairs, and that I was overreacting. I wasn't sure anymore what was truth and what was cover-up. Now I'm filing for emergency custody. The court date is coming. I don't know how it'll go. But one thing's clear now, this isn't just about betrayal anymore. It's about saving my children from chaos. And I'm not giving up. 2 days before the emergency custody hearing, I got a call from an unknown number around 11:30 p.m. At first I thought it was spam, but something told me to pick up. It was Carlos. Listen, man. I didn't want to be part of this, he said, voice shaky. But your wife, Maria, she's not who you think she is. I sat up straight in bed. What the hell are you talking about? He took a deep breath and said, She told me you were abusive. That you hit her. She said you were dangerous and controlling. That's why I got involved. I felt sorry for her. I clenched my fist. I never laid a hand on her. I know that now, he replied. She said the same thing about me, last week. My stomach dropped. She told her family that I pushed her. That I yelled at your kids? It's not true. She's been recording us without my knowledge, trying to get material, I think, to use against both of us. He sounded panicked now. She threatened to tell the court I was a drunk, that I beat her. She said if I didn't keep helping her with the custody thing, she'd say I hurt your daughter. I was speechless. Not because I believed him completely, but because it made sense. The fake bruises. The dramatic messages. The way Maria always twisted things, playing the victim even when she was the one cheating and lying. Why are you telling me this now? I asked. Because I'm leaving, Carlos said. I'm done. I already packed my stuff. I'm getting on the bus to Devo tomorrow. I just thought you should know what you're up against. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next morning, I told my lawyer everything. She was skeptical until Carlos actually showed up, cleaned up, sober, and with screenshots of his own. Maria's messages to him were intense, manipulative, and threatening. He handed over a flash drive full of recordings too. One of them had Maria screaming, "I'll ruin both of you if I have to. You think he'll win custody? I'll make him look like a monster." Another one had her coaching my daughter to say things like, "Daddy shouts all the time," and "I'm scared when he's mad." We submitted all of it to the court under emergency review. Maria was served a notice that same afternoon. The twist? She tried to flip the whole thing. She told the court Carlos was a vengeful ex, trying to sabotage her life. That I was working with him to destroy her. She even tried to accuse me of coercing Carlos into making fake recordings. But her story didn't hold. The timestamps, the metadata, everything lined up. And Carlos, for all his flaws, came clean in front of the judge. He admitted to his affair with Maria, but also explained the psychological and emotional manipulation he endured during the relationship. The judge ordered a temporary suspension of Maria's full custody rights, pending further investigation. For now, the kids would stay with me. But I knew it wasn't over. 3 nights later, I came home to find my front gate slightly open. Nothing was stolen, nothing broken, but there was something on my doorstep. Another folder. No name on the front this time. Inside were printed out photos. Of me. Eating lunch with my sister at a carinderia. Dropping my kids off at school. Shopping at SM Mall. Talking to my female coworker after a staff meeting. All of them taken without my knowledge. There was no note. But deep down, I knew it was Maria. She wasn't just fighting dirty anymore. She was watching me. And that's when it hit me, this isn't just a custody battle or a messy breakup. This is war. And I don't think Maria plans to lose. 3 days after the folder of surveillance photos appeared on my doorstep, I filed a police report. The officer barely blinked. "You sure it was your wife?" he asked. "I'm not sure," I said. "But who else would be watching me and my kids like this?" They said they'd look into it, but I knew nothing would come of it. I installed cameras around the house and stopped going anywhere without checking over my shoulder. The night before the final custody hearing, I got a call from Maria's mother, Aling Tessie. She had never liked me much, and we rarely spoke. But this time her voice was shaking. "I need to talk to you," she said. "Face to face." I met her at a cafe the next morning. She didn't order anything. Just looked at me with eyes red from crying. "She's not okay," Aling Tessie whispered. "Maria's lost. She's been lying to everyone. She told me you hid her, that Carlos abused her. I believed her. I thought she was the victim. But last night, I saw her hurting your daughter." My heart dropped. She grabbed her too hard. "Was screaming about you. It scared me. It scared the kids." I sat in silence. "I'm testifying," she said. "In court. I have to." At that moment, something cracked inside me. Not rage. Not even relief. Just exhaustion. 10 years of love, marriage, betrayal, all boiling down to this. Our children being caught in the middle of someone's downward spiral. The next day in court, Maria arrived looking pale, but defiant. Her lawyer tried to argue everything as a smear campaign. But one by one, the evidence piled up. Carlos testified. Alan Tessie testified. Even Maria's younger sister, Ella, spoke about the nights she heard Maria threatening to hurt herself to manipulate Carlos or guilt her own kids into lying. Then it happened. The judge asked Maria directly, "Do you deny threatening your ex-husband and manipulating your children to lie?" Silence. Her face didn't twitch. Her lips parted. And she whispered, "I didn't want to lose them." The judge asked, "So you admit it?" "I thought if I lost them, I'd have nothing left," she said, her voice cracking. "He didn't love me anymore. Carlos didn't want me either. The kids, they were all I had." In front of the court, Maria broke down. She sobbed. Loud and broken. Her lawyer tried to console her, but she pushed him away. "I didn't mean to be this way," she kept repeating. The courtroom was quiet. No one said anything. Even the judge looked shaken. In the end, the ruling was clear. I got full custody. Maria was granted supervised visitation until she could complete a psychological evaluation and parenting program. I didn't fight it. I didn't celebrate. I just sat there, numb. After the hearing, she tried to talk to me. Outside the building, in the parking lot. "I wasn't always like this," she said. "No," I replied. "You weren't." She reached out like she wanted to touch my arm, but I stepped back. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I nodded. "I know." Then I turned and walked away. The first few months after that were difficult. The kids cried for her sometimes. I never badmouthed her to them, no matter how tempting it was. I just told them their mommy was trying to get better. Carlos moved on. Last I heard, he was working in Davao, trying to put it behind him. Maria entered therapy. Her sister, Ella, said she was making progress. Slowly. Quietly. My daughter draws more now. My son laughs more. We still have bad days. But we're healing. Sometimes I look at that folder, the first one. The one that started it all. I kept it. Not as a reminder of pain, but of truth. Of the day I stopped lying to myself. I wasn't perfect. I worked too much. I missed signs. I held in my emotions. But I never deserved betrayal. And my kids definitely didn't deserve the chaos they were dragged into. Love doesn't always die loudly. Sometimes it rots slowly until one day it just snaps. I've learned that closure isn't neat. It's messy. It's quiet. It doesn't come with a bow. But it comes. And when it does, you can finally breathe again. So here I am. Breathing. Hopeful? Maybe. Still a little broken? Sure. But I'm alive. My kids are safe. And for now, that's enough.